In this video, I'll show you how I made over 6 figures with just 3,000 subscribers on YouTube by building a hyper-specific B2B personal brand where I'm selling my high-ticket services. So I run a performance marketing agency helping e-commerce businesses with Meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram ads. And I've used YouTube to get most of my clients over the last year. And that have gotten me to a point in business where I can travel the world, live freely, while making 6 figures and with the extremely high profit margin as well. Some proof, through YouTube, I booked more than 148 calls and 26 deals closed. So that's clients on a recurring basis paying me, giving me a really nice recurring revenue in my business. Now, just to make sure you don't get confused here, the current YouTube channel that you're watching now is something else. This YouTube channel, if you search up my name, Oli Strand, you will see this one pop up first probably, where I have 3,000 subscribers as I'm making this video in February 2025. So I've made a lot of money with much less than 3,000 subscribers, and I'm going to show you that as well. And in this video, I'll share with you why you should stop lead scraping, stop cold outreach, stop cold calling, stop doing all your follow-ups and crazy offers and guarantees, and instead double down on YouTube. When I did that, that freed up so much of my time. I basically automated my whole sales process and I could actually enjoy my business a lot more. I could go travel the world, go surf, and then come back to my calendar and log on my computer and see that people are booking in calls with me. And I'm going to tell you, the sales calls you have from inbound leads, aka leads that are watching your content for a long time, they already trust you, they already believe in you, and they believe that you can solve their problem, they're so much easier to close. And it's such a more an enjoyable process instead of having to hop on calls with skeptical business owners that doesn't really trust you, and they've been probably, run over by some agencies in the past that haven't gotten them results. YouTube is just something in today's world that if you're selling a high ticket service or coaching offer or something like that, you should definitely double down on YouTube. So by the end of this video, my promise to you is that I'll show you how to build your own hyper specific personal brand on YouTube, even if you hate putting yourself in front of the camera. Now, I absolutely hated talking to a camera when I started out. It was extremely uncomfortable. I did not like the idea of putting myself out there on YouTube in case some friends or family saw it. And it was just a really, really uncomfortable beginning. And I'll show you how I got through that and how I'm able to actually have a bit of a good time right now filming this video for you, which is pretty crazy. But a few years ago would be unimaginable that I will stand here and actually have a good time making a video like this. My other promise is that you will have an automated sales process that gets you prospects into your calendar that are ready to buy, so that instead of focusing all day on sales and draining your energy, getting sales and getting new clients, you can actually focus on the thing that really matters, which is getting results for your clients and retaining them so they stick with you and maybe also give you referrals, which is great. And in addition to that, I'll show you how you can have YouTube paying for your daily coffee. YouTube can pay you to market your own services. How crazy is that? And I'll also show you how to build an authority that allows you to increase your prices. So the exact same thing that you're currently selling, you can essentially increase your prices because you have more authority, you have more proof, and that would allow you to make a lot more money and have more fun in the process of doing so. So before I get into all of that and show you my whole strategy that I've used, let me tell you the story of how I went from absolutely broke to my first 10K month in profit in less than 6 months with YouTube. And yes, that is exactly what happened. So let me take you back to Sri Lanka 2022. Let me turn off the audio here. You see, I'm having a great time. This was my first trip. So I started my freelancing business and I was stuck in front of my desk making sales, trying to retain clients leaving me, having to make more sales to keep my business afloat. And finally, I was able to, get a media buyer on board that helped me out with service delivery a little bit. And I booked a trip to Sri Lanka. So this was my first proper trip out of Norway since I started my business. And I was really nervous because I didn't know how I was going to deal with the time difference. I didn't know if the internet was going to be good enough, all that stuff. There were so many unknowns. But during the whole trip, in the beginning it was fine, but then something happened. And I'll get into that. But first, I want to show you this funny meme here. As I was making this video for you right now, I went through all the pictures that I took in Sri Lanka 2022, and I had this picture with a monkey. And let's call him Kevin. And this is Kevin reacting to all the appointments that I got booked from YouTube after I started my YouTube channel. So in the beginning of the trip, I had a lot of fun. Okay, I went down there with my friend. Then my business got hacked, or essentially the business ad account, Meta ad account got hacked, and the hackers hacked our clients, and I lost most of my clients in just the matter of 2 days, 1 day or 2 days. So really quickly, that changed that trip a lot. And, I was already nervous going on a trip with my business. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And then that happened, and I've never been so stressed in my life, man. Horrible experience, and lost most of my clients, basically hit rock bottom. But luckily, a year prior to going on that trip, I had made my first YouTube video where I posted this video, right, as you see here, how I got a 9x ROAS with Facebook ads for one of my e-commerce clients. And in the beginning, this video had no views at all. You can see here, past this time here, it had absolutely no views. And I didn't expect it to have views. To be completely honest with you, I don't even remember why I made this video. I think somebody probably told me, or maybe I saw a video or something about making YouTube content to get clients currently, as you're doing. And I guess that's what got me to make that video. But I simply just sat down in front of my computer and showed a screen sharing of the ad account for one of my clients, showing the strategy that we use to get a 9x ROAS. And yeah, it got no views, but while I was in Sri Lanka and all of this madness happened, that picked up, and I didn't even fully notice until I got back home. And people were starting to book in calls with me. And this was so weird because I had never had people booking calls with me unless I had already been in touch with them through like a cold email or reaching out to them in Instagram or Facebook. So I was like, what is going on here, And there was first a UK business, then a business in the US reaching out to me. And up to that point, I'd just worked with Norwegian businesses because it's much easier to close people in my own country. And when I hopped on the sales call, it was a totally different experience. I really didn't have to sell them. They were ready to buy already. So I just presented an offer and they said yes. And I got my first yes, as you can see in the email there. Then I got another one and another one. And I started to pick up momentum, and I didn't do any effort on the sales side anymore. Then with this momentum and my business starting to picking back up again from being completely broke. I was actually living in a super cheap hotel in Sri Lanka the last few weeks because I couldn't afford anything else, didn't have an AC. And when I got back home to Norway, I had to move back in with my family to save money. But then the momentum picked up, and with the momentum, I knew that I needed to ride this momentum for as long as I could. So I just locked in. I borrowed the family home that I grew up in, that we were currently just using as a cabin because we had moved away from that home. And I just turned it into my first monk mode. So I just worked out, no distractions. There's nothing to do in this area, by the way. That's why we use it as a cabin. It's just nature. And the nearest store is like half an hour away almost. So just locked in, made YouTube content, focused on my business, grew those clients that I got. And after about 6 months of doing that, I was able to hit my first 10K month. And at the time, I just had 363 subscribers on YouTube. And as you can see, while doing that, I was living in Lofoten, a beautiful place in Norway. Highly recommend if you like mountains and surfing and nature and all that stuff. I was staying there for a month, working on my business, surfing, spearfishing, living life while hitting 10K in profit. And it was a total big change in my life doing that. And after that, everything continued to grow. I traveled the world, surfed around the world, went to amazing destinations, a lot of amazing, cool experiences, all because, well, partly because I didn't have to focus on sales anymore. I just had to continue to make YouTube content. And that's essentially how I stumbled across the magic of YouTube. And now I'm going to give you my step-by-step blueprint for how you can do the same in the next 6 months. But probably less, to be honest. I made so many mistakes. I was really surprised that it worked as well as it did for me. Again, I don't really remember why I even made my first YouTube video. is a lot of luck in this whole thing. So if you apply everything that I'm about to teach you, then you could probably do this in 3 months, maybe even less, depending on how quickly you want to do this. So I'm going to divide this up in 3 different levels because I think YouTube and content, if you're not already in it, can be extremely overwhelming. There's so many different aspects to it. You've probably seen a bunch of videos before this one on how to do it. So you're probably already extremely overwhelmed. So depending on what level you're currently at, I think that's the only thing you should focus on firstly. If you're at level 1, just focus on what you need to do at level 1. When you get to level 2, that's what you focus on. And then level 3, then you add on some more stuff. But if you try to do all of this at the same time, I just think you're going to fail. My honest opinion. I think start where you're at and then slowly add on as you go. So level 1, I would say that's about 0 to 100 subscribers, maybe a little bit more depending on what you're selling and how high ticket your service is. But anyways, to simplify this, let's say level 1 is 0 to 100 subscribers, okay? When you're at that stage, you should only copy the proven formats. So copy what's already working on YouTube. It's maybe tempting to be original and create new stuff all the time, but when you're starting out, before you make your own original content, just look at people within your same space that have already, spent a lot of money doing a lot of research, a lot of time figuring out the formats that people click on and people are interested in watching. Just copy that. Like, turn those formats into your own videos. Of course, don't copy everything they're saying, but like copy the format. So the way they structure the title, the thumbnail, and the video as well. So as an example here, you can see one of the guys I was looking at who got a lot of clients from his YouTube was Ben Heath, which is a guy on the left here. And I looked at him and a bunch of other guys, and I had seen some of the formats that were working. And then I basically combined those together and made my own mix of those. So as you can see here, he has one video where he focuses on the new way to run Facebook ads, right? And people like to watch stuff that's new because if they haven't had results in the past, maybe this new thing can help them make results or get results. Then he also had the old way and the new way, as you can see here. And this one had a 23x better results than his average performance. And I'll show you how you can figure out how you can see the standout performance of other creators' videos as well. And then I simply combined those together and made my own variation of it. And as you can see, I had a 6x better performance than my average videos by doing that. So in the beginning, just copy the things that work. And when you do your research to figure out what's working, you can use this Chrome extension called vidIQ. It's very helpful. When you add it on, and you scroll through YouTube, you will have this thing pop up and you can easily spot the kind of videos that are getting above average performance compared to the average of that creator. So that's extremely helpful. You can also see some stats of how the views have grown over time. And if they've changed the title, you can also see it here, which is really, really interesting. If you're spying on somebody that's within your same space and doing really well, this is an extremely valuable tool. And it's also free, by the way. Of course, you can get the paid version, but I just use the free one because it's more than enough for me. Now, when you are at level 1, one thing that I think is extremely important, it's also going to help you put yourself out there, is that you don't need to tell people what to do and what works. You just need to show what's working for you or your clients. So my first video was simply me hopping in the ad account of one of my clients, showing what had worked for us. I didn't say this is the way it should work for everyone. I didn't do anything like that. I just said, this is what we've been doing. And this is why it's working for us. And then people could take that however they wanted to. And I'm talking from my own experience. I said how I got a 9x ROAS, not how to get a 9x ROAS. Just see how I'm framing it. It's a little bit easier to just talk about what you've done instead of, coming out immediately telling people what to do. Because if you have no authority or anything like that, then it's just likely not going to be respected. So just talk about what you've done and show them as well. As you can see here, I'm doing a screen share. I'm actually hopping in and showing them the actual results and how we structure the campaigns. So show, don't tell. And always remember that when you're starting out. Another thing that you've definitely heard before is that being consistent is absolutely key. You need to have the invisible growth first, which is essentially you learning how to format your videos, how to make the videos, how to talk to a camera, all that stuff. And as you're learning that, you're not going to get views. But then over time, it's going to compound. And once you lock all the skills that you need together, you will have visible growth. But just know that consistency is everything. Everything I'm talking through, it doesn't really matter. You can't hack this. You need to fail and fail and fail to learn. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to get into some stuff that helped me stay consistent. But also, as you can see here, I had a lot of periods where I just didn't post. But when I started posting consistently over here, things picked up quite a lot. So if you can stay consistent, you can get much better results much faster than I did. So, and as you can see here, I'm also making a little bit of money from YouTube, just ad revenue. And that's essentially what I mean when I say YouTube is paying for my coffee. So just a little bit of a bonus add on there. Obviously, you make your money from the clients that you close through YouTube. And make sure you have a zero view mentality. When you post videos, don't expect views. Just post stuff. Learn from it, post it, learn from it, post it, and try to copy formats and follow the frameworks that I'm going to show you in this video. Now, as you're making your videos, it's important that it actually turns into leads and people booking in appointments with you. So make sure in the top of your description that you put your Calendly link, and that should be the #1 call to action. So if you don't have a Calendly, definitely get that and link it to your every YouTube video that you post. And you can set this up by default so that every time you upload a video, your link is there. You should also add info on your profile about who you are, what you do, so that when people are interested, they can easily click onto your YouTube profile, and then they can immediately see the link to your website or your Calendly there as well. So the more places you have that link, the more likely it is people going to click on it. And also have a banner, super simple, but just so that people understand what you're about. So what they should expect you to make content about, or what they can expect to get from you if they want to book in a call or go to your website. And also in the About section, you can add a little bit more information about your story or something that gives you more authority, and also some more links to how people can get in touch with you. Now, one thing that really helped me out a lot was to incentivize engagement early on, and also responding quickly with really in-depth answers to those comments that I got. So usually in the videos that I made, I would always incentivize people to add comments. I would say, if you have any questions to anything that I'm talking about in this video, make sure you leave a comment down below. I answer each and every comment in as much detail as possible. And I would repeat that in every video, and I would also sometimes pin the comments here to remind them to leave a comment if they found the video valuable or if they had any questions. And that led to quite a lot of comments, and I answered them in a lot of detail. And what I actually realized later on was that sometimes a year later, or sometimes even more than a year later, the people that first commented would continue to watch my videos, and then they would book in a call, but like months and more than a year later sometimes. So the customer journey is very long. They need to see your content for a very long time before they're ready to buy. But when they are ready to buy, it's the easiest close you will ever have. So keep in mind that you should answer every comment quickly, because that helps the algorithm. YouTube sees that there is engagement there. But even more importantly, you build a connection with your audience. Once you've given them, in-depth answer, and you put some effort and time into making that answer, these people will respect you a lot more, they will like you more, and they will continue to come back and watch your content. And if you continue to do that, you will have a compounding effect where you will have continuously the same people coming back, but also new people coming in. And over time, that's going to give you that exponential growth curve that you're looking for. So make sure you incentivize engagement and take time and effort to write really in-depth, good answers to every comment you get. At some point, it's not going to be possible anymore because you will get so many comments. But up to a certain degree, especially in the beginning, you should always do this. Now, level 2 is what I would say between 100 and 1,000 subscribers. Again, could be differently depending on what you're selling, but just to keep it simple, when you get your 100 subscribers, it means you put some videos out, maybe 10 to 15, 20 different videos. People like them, people subscribe, they want to watch more. But now you need to continue to grow. So at level 2, we need to be a little bit more sophisticated. And I wish I had done this for every video earlier on, because it's so helpful in getting your videos out there and getting the algorithm to push you out there. So basically what you need to do is to reverse engineer the YouTube video process. So the first thing you need to start with is the thumbnail and the title before you even make the video or script the video. So many times I made a mistake of scripting and filming before I would make a title and a thumbnail. You should at least have a few ideas of different thumbnails and titles you can use before you start scripting. The reason for that is it does not matter at all. If you have an amazing video with a lot of value, if you put a lot of effort into the editing and the filming, if people aren't clicking on the video. So the only way to get people to click on it is to have a great thumbnail and a great title that gets people interested in clicking. And in order for you to actually make a good thumbnail and a good title, you first need a good idea. So good idea is number one. That's the foundation. So you need to spend most of your time in the beginning just coming up with the good ideas. Okay, so let's go through the ideation phase first. So we're going to use the 3R framework here, which is a framework that I totally made up as I was making this video. I've never heard about that before, but hopefully it's going to help you remember what I'm going to teach you now. So number one, you need to do research. Again, we're going to still continue to copy the formats that work the best. So you're going to look at your competitors or people within your space, see what's working for them, and then we're going to make that format into our own variation. You're not going to copy the actual content, you're just going to copy the format. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start to come up with ideas for how we can make a good combination of thumbnail and title. So there's a great tool for that, which is free. It's called YouTube Video Thumbnail Preview. I have the URL down here, where you can make the thumbnail and put in the title, and then you can see how the video looks like, what it looks like when you put it into it. So let's actually go through it together. I'll show you an example here. I'm going to add the title from one of the previous videos that I made on this channel. So how I escaped the 9-to-5 and built a 6-figure agency. That's one of the ideas that I had for the thumbnail, sorry, for the video. And then the thumbnail, I would then simply upload that one right here. So open it, and then you can click preview. And now I would be able to see how interested I would be in clicking it if I saw it myself. So it's almost like you can zoom out and get a better perspective of how your thumbnail looks when it is on the browser page of YouTube with a lot of other thumbnails around it. So as you can see, this is what it looks like down here. I can also see how it looks on the mobile. And it's really important that there is some alignment between the thumbnail and the title, so that the thumbnail and the title really makes you want to click. And it's a whole science to it. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but essentially just make sure that it looks like something you think your ideal audience would click on. Okay. And this is a great way of doing that. Now, once you have some good ideas for title and thumbnail to the video, now you can recreate the video that you found from another creator. And essentially what you do then is use the scripting framework that's called the AIDA framework. So attention, interest, desire, and action. And now I have not always used this framework, to be honest. And usually the times where I've not used it, my videos have not been performing well. When I have used it, unknowingly, it's been performing extremely well. So I'm going to show you an example after this. But before I get into the example, number one, attention. And attention is really important. It's essentially the hook of the video. It's what gets people to not click off the video and hop on to some other video that's around on the YouTube feed. So it could either be a pain point. Pain point usually works really well. I've used that one a lot of times, where I talk about a specific pain that the viewer is experiencing. If it's not a pain, it could be a new update. People are really interested in new stuff, what's new, what's updated, those kind of things. A controversial statement could be a good opener, and that could also be combined with a shocking stat or a fact, a bold claim, or a story-based opener. So a short, quick story of like, this is how, basically what I did in this video, how I grew my agency to 6 figures with 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? You can mix these together as well, right? I have a stat, a shocking fact, and a story. All of the same things in the first few seconds of the video. The next thing is getting them interested to continue to watch. So you can show some proof. Usually I've showed proof or a preview. If you start with a pain point and then promise a solution, then that's a good way to build interest. Or you can use social proof to create authority. So if you have a lot of case studies or a lot of success stories, you can show that the thing that you're about to show them created these results to create social proof, essentially. Then the next thing you want to do is create desire. Basically what you need here is to really make them want your solution. So you can do that by showing how it's done. You can show the benefits of what happens when they implement this. You can contrast your solution to other ways that is not working as well. You can paint a vision. So kind of like I did in the beginning of this video as well. I painted a vision for how your business could look if you don't have to spend a lot of time doing sales and cold outreach and that stuff, right? And I was then able to travel around the world and make a lot of money. So I'm painting a vision. That's one way you can create desire. And I used the paint a vision strategy to get you to watch all the way until this point of this video. So I'm teaching you all this, but I'm also applying it to this video. So if you're able to see that, then maybe you'll learn more. Also relating to their struggles, which I also did in this video. So you probably have had a struggle of having to balance between making sales and retaining your clients, but finding it really difficult. If I can relate to that struggle that you have or you have had, then it's more likely that you will have the desire to watch the video to the end to get the solution, which I'm now sharing with you. In the end, you also need action, right? We need to make them make the action that we want them to make. So that could be encouraging them to just comment on the video. It could be booking in a call, getting a free resource. And it's very important that in the last part of the video, when you're sharing the action, the call to action, you need to be extremely specific, telling them exactly what to do. And if you can add some exclusiveness or urgency to the call to action, then it will be a lot more effective as well. And I'm going to share with you exactly how I did that unknowingly in this video right here. So I can't remember exactly what I was thinking when I was scripting this. This is more than a year ago. But as you can see, this video that I made right here got more than 15x above the average performance that I have for my videos on YouTube. So I'm going to share that video with you, go through how I apply the AIDA framework to it and why it performs so well. So now we're going to watch a few sections of this video together. I will then stop the video and explain to you why I think it worked as well and how this relates to the AIDA framework. I've been working with Facebook ads for the last 5 years, managing multiple different accounts, working with multiple different businesses, and overall managing millions in ad spend. So as you can see in the first few seconds of the video, I'm building authority. That's really important because I'm talking about something that is required. Like, people need to believe that I know the solution for them to want to continue to watch it, because there's so much stuff and content out there. So by saying that I've worked with multiple different brands and managed millions in ad spend, that's creating some authority right off the bat. And now, mind you, we're only about 10 or 11 seconds into the video. So I was really quick at doing that. And then I get into the next section. And we're still now into the attention part of the AIDA framework. So see what I do now. One of the problems that we've had that occurred a lot during my career is that the businesses I'm working with were not able to scale quick without losing profitability. So once they want to increase the ad spend to get more new customers, it's hurting the overall profitability. Now, the next thing I do is I articulate a pain point that I knew a lot of people in the Facebook advertising world were experiencing. So when they scale, they lose profitability. And I'm telling it in a story format. So you see how I implement both authority, pain point, and like a quick story, and relating to their pain point in the first 30 seconds of the video here. Okay, so see what I do next. So this has been an issue that I've been having for all of my career. And recently I just found a new scaling method that I've not seen anyone else talk about. And it's actually working extremely well for us. And we've been able to scale some of our clients beyond what we thought we could. And yeah, getting some amazing success. Then I go straight into telling them that I have a new solution, right? And I think this is the reason why this video worked so well. Within the first about 40 seconds of the video, I had all of those different things that created both, got their attention, created interest, and really got them to want to continue to watch to see what this new solution is all about. Then after we're not even 1 minute into the video, now I go and show a specific case study. So I have specific numbers. So how we profitably generated over 1,000 new customers in 33 days. So as you can see, I have a big headline and proof, and we're still less than 1 minute into the video. Then about almost 2 minutes into the video, I just showed them the exact strategy. But I knew that this would just, they wouldn't understand this. They would see what it is. It's an automated scaling rule and a bid cap, some really technical stuff when it comes to performance marketing. So they would now see the solution, but they wouldn't understand how to apply it. And this would create desire for them to continue to watch so that they can understand how they can apply the strategy to their business. Now, at the same time, I'm also showing them the strategy. So now they know that this is something that I've not seen before. So I'm delivering on the promise that this is a new way of scaling profitably. And yeah, I think this is a big reason why it works so well. Now for the rest of the video, I basically just show them the strategy, share my screen, share how we did it, share some results and how it developed after we set this up. But what I want to show you now is the last few minutes of the video here, where I have the call to action. And I want you to see how I create both a feeling of exclusivity and also urgency to get people to actually book a call with me. So I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, I would highly appreciate a like and a comment, and subscribe if you want to see future videos like this, where I share tips, things that I've learned for free, so that you can get better results for your Facebook ad campaigns. If you want to work with me and my team, there's a link below in the description of this video where you can book a free non-binding strategy session with me, and then we can talk through and see if we're a good fit for a potential partnership. Right now we have a few slots open, so if you're interested in taking your Facebook ads and your business to the next level, make sure you click the link below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So as you can see, I'm seeing right now we have a few slots open. So that's creating both some scarcity and urgency. And yeah, I'm telling them exactly what to do. I'm saying the link is in the description. They can book in a free non-binding strategy session. And yeah, that call to action worked really well. This video got me a lot of book calls because I followed this framework. And as you can see, it outperformed all of my previous videos up to this point, almost 9,000 views as well. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the filming part. And this is usually what scares people. It's what scared me in the beginning. It's actually standing in front of the camera or sitting in front of the camera, talking to it. And it's extremely difficult if you're not used to it. So the point here is, what I've learned now is that the more fun you can make the filming, the more likely it's going to be that you will stay consistent with it. And if you can create a positive association with filming, you will be able to do it for a long time. And the energy you have in your videos is going to be very different as well. If you hate filming, that's going to show a little bit in your videos, and people aren't necessarily going to stick around and enjoy watching them as much as if it looks like you're enjoying to make the video. So number one is, when you sit down to film or stand up to film or go to film, make sure that the camera and mic has battery. Like, you don't want to spend any time or energy having to set up your camera or anything like that. You want everything to be ready because you want as little mistakes or problems before you turn on the camera as possible, because we would just want to keep you having a positive flow and good energy once you get into filming. So the day before, ideally, you would have everything ready, charge up your camera, set up how you want things to be. And then once you're charge up, you have energy, you feel good, you just hop in front of the camera, click record, and then you're off. Also, make sure you test the audio before recording. This is a mistake I've made a few times. It's not fun knowing, an hour into it that you don't have audio. So make sure you double check the audio always before you start filming. Remove all distractions, remove people around you. Just make sure that you have blocked out a few hours to film. You really need to prioritize this and put it into your calendar, and make sure that your phone right now, there might be people calling me, but I don't know because I'm making this video. In addition to that, there's no one in this house right now. I have the next few hours to myself, and that is extremely important. If you have, concerns that somebody might walk into the room or there might be noise around me, that's going to mess up the flow. And we need to make this as much of a fun experience as possible. So minimal stuff that can distract us. You need fresh energy. So make sure you film when you have the most amount of energy. For me, that's usually in the morning, after workout, after walk outside, after a surf session, also sometimes not after a surf session, depending on how big the waves are. But doing something first that allows you to have like that energy so that you can transfer it into your videos. Stand up straight while filming. This is a hack that I've recently found. Right now I have a standing desk, and standing up, being a little bit dynamic, makes it a lot easier to film than sitting down. Make sure you have a clean room or clean surroundings. Really important. You want to have at least the least amount of clutter you can have. So that goes for also your surroundings, but your head space and all that stuff. Make sure you have water and hydration. So my throat just gets so dry when I start to talk to a camera. I don't know why. Make sure you have water. Make sure you don't force the one take wonder. So one fallacy that I had when I started making content was that I thought that I needed to sit down and do it all in one take. If I mess up what I'm saying, if I mess up what I'm saying, I can simply start again, because in post-production, I can cut out the first few tries. So I don't know if you saw what I did there. Anyways, make sure that you don't overthink that. You can clean things up in post-production. So if you need to retake a sentence, just relax, stay calm. Don't slap yourself in the face, okay? Just give yourself time and do the take again. There's magic that can be done in post-production, trust me. You can fix a lot of stuff in post-production. So that's a problem that you'll have for later when you start editing. Don't question the script when you've started to film, okay? This is a mistake I made so many times. I sit down to film or stand up to film, and then I would go through it, and then once I'm halfway through my script, I would be like, this is not good enough. And then that would mess up the whole, like, now I wasted so much time. Once you've made a script, you decided what to say and what to present, stick with it, okay? In the next video, you can make it better and you can learn from that experience. But once you've done with the script, make the video, because you become so judgmental of your own script once you start filming. And that's just going to hold you back from gaining that momentum that you need. You need the feedback loop of scripting, creating, posting, scripting, creating, posting. You need that feedback loop. And if you're judging yourself once you're filming and you stop it, you're never going to get anywhere. So just don't question the script once you're filming. It's done, and now you have to get it out there. That should be a rule. And I wish I had that in my head when I started, because I've made a lot of videos that never got posted because I questioned myself. A little bit of a bonus thing that might not be relevant for everyone, but I do some caffeine or nicotine before filming sometimes, depending on the video and how I feel. It gives me a little bit of a dopamine boost, and it also gets me a little bit addicted to filming, because if I know I can have coffee and nicotine when I'm filming, it creates this association that I'm basically manufacturing a little bit of an addiction to something that I want to be addicted to. So take that with some caution. It works for me, might not work for you. So just letting you know. In terms of the setup you need, don't overthink this. I have a Canon M50, super cheap camera. I think I bought it in 2019 for like $500. You could probably get one now for free. I don't know. Like, you don't need good equipment. You can film with your iPhone. I would recommend spending most of your money in the beginning on just audio, number one, and light, but the light is almost free as well. Like, it doesn't cost anything. This thing right here, the thing that I have above my camera right now, is like so cheap, but it helps, because right now the light is in my face and there's not shadows on my face, and that helps with how it looks. I also have this microphone, the Shure microphone, but to be honest, how do you say this? The Rode Wireless Go 2. I would recommend that one. It works just as fine. But this one, which I'm using right now, is also really good if you want to block out the audio surrounding you and only wanted to capture the audio coming from your mouth. So for me, this one is really good. But in the beginning, I wasn't even using anything of this. I think I only had, well, I still used the Canon, but sometimes I just film with my phone and even my webcam on my computer, just like a Loom video format. So please don't overthink the equipment. But a benefit of having good quality audio, which I recently learned, is that once you edit your video, you can edit based on your transcript automatically. So with one button, you can cut out all of the ums and the parts of the audio where you're not saying anything, which can speed up the editing process so much. So invest in audio first, then some light, and then maybe a better camera at some point down the line. Now, as soon as you're done filming, make sure you just sit down and do the raw cut. So just do the raw edit first. So that just means cut out the big chunks where you're not saying anything, or the parts that you need to just cut out of your video. Do that immediately, because as soon as you start waiting, you will forget the parts where you messed up or where you need to retake or change something. So do the raw edit while it's fresh on your mind. And also, if there's anything else you need to note that you want to do later when you have more time for editing, just note it down on your computer or a piece of paper, because everything is so much easier while it's fresh on your mind. If you wait to do this for the next day, it's going to take a lot more time, and I've made that mistake way too many times. Just do it immediately, and in total, you're going to be way more efficient. Then as soon as you're done with the raw edit, just schedule some time for the actual editing where you finish up the video, because right now you should give yourself a reward for filming. Again, we want to associate filming with a positive emotion, right? So once you're done filming, give yourself a reward. So either some food, an activity that you enjoy doing, get out in nature, or take a little bit of a break. In order to stay consistent, this needs to be something that over time you start enjoying. So keep that in mind. For the editing, keep it extremely minimal in the beginning. I just use Premiere Pro, but you can use CapCut. It's very simple. The point is just to get videos out there, and it can get overwhelming in terms of all the extra stuff and the B-roll and the music and the transitions, but just cut all that fluff in the beginning. You don't need any fancy editing. All you need is to follow the AIDA framework and get your videos out there and provide value. Now, what gets measured gets managed. So this is a big one for me, was when I started using the YouTube Studio app on my phone, and I got addicted to it, and I still am addicted to this app. Every time I post a video, I go into YouTube Studio and I check the performance, sometimes, multiple times in that same day as I posted it, and probably for the next week until I post my next video. And now the reason why it's great to do this is because you get a good feeling of why something is underperforming or why it's overperforming. And you have this feedback loop much more tighter to when you posted a video. So as an example, as you can see here, I posted this video of my story on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that one, you can go and check that one after this one. So as I'm seeing this metric of the click-through rate just being 0.9%, that tells me that the thumbnail isn't that good. Now, in this case, I don't have that many views or impressions for this video, so it's based on very little data, so it's not super reliable. So I would wait a little bit longer before I make any judgment of what I need to change for the next video. But as you can see, I get like a checkbox on average view duration, or like an arrow pointing upwards. That means it's a little bit better than average. The views in the first 20 hours and 14 minutes were a little bit better than average, but impression click-through rate was right on where it's usually at, but 0.9% is really low. The point here is that you want to have this feedback loop, and you want to understand how what you created is performing. Because while it's fresh on your mind and you remember how you created the format, how you apply the AIDA framework, you can then see how that affects the results. And if you can get addicted to this and also get addicted to this, subscribers and views and watch time, then it's more likely you will continue to stay consistent and you want to post better and better videos. So basically, this is an app, extremely valuable to have. Just make sure you check it every time you post something, and get addicted to it. Now, somewhere around level 2, I would say you should definitely hire a thumbnail designer. This will be the best return on your time. It's not expensive at all, and it is extremely important to have a good thumbnail. I wish I found a good thumbnail designer sooner, because it had such a big impact on the results, and the ROI on having better thumbnails for me was massive. I have not calculated it, but it was good, because you just pay these guys on a project basis. So you pay them like 10 to 30 USD per thumbnail, sometimes a little bit more depending on how much money you have at the time. But I would say, go for somebody that's good. Spend most of your money on the thumbnail in the beginning instead of editing, because again, if your video is amazing, but you have a shitty thumbnail, it doesn't matter how much resources and time and value you provide in your video. The thumbnail and the title needs to be good. So I would use YouTube Jobs. It's much better than Fiverr and Upwork, in my opinion. You need to spend a little bit of money to, make a job post, but it's definitely worth it. You will save that money back instead of having to go through 10 different designers. The talent on YouTube Jobs is just much, much better. Then get at least 50 applications and give a test project to the top 5. And the ones you like the most is the one you continue working with. Simple as that. You can also create a thumbnail guideline for the designers so that you don't continuously have to give them the same instructions. So you have a Notion document with some facial expressions, some examples of thumbnail styles that you want your channel to have. And what I've done there is like go through some of the people in my space that's doing well, showing, adding screenshots of some of their best thumbnails, and then adding that into the document. And that document will be super valuable because you can just provide it to the thumbnail designer, and if you change the designer moving forward, you can just continue to provide a document and creates everything much easier for you. Now, at level 2, you should also start an email list. So you should use ConvertKit. It's the best one out there. And then you should start to create lead magnets to incentivize people to sign up from YouTube onto your email list. The reason you want to do that is because the first 24 hours after you post your videos are really important for the algorithm to understand if it should push your video or if it should not push your video. So if you can get a lot of views from your email lists as soon as you post it, and you can get a lot of feedback as soon as you post it, then it can take off a lot sooner and you can ride that wave. So for every new video you post, you should make like a newsletter, sending it out, having a little bit of a text, and make sure that you follow the AIDA framework when you write your email as well to get people to click and want to watch your video. In addition to that, once you have an email list, you can upsell your services. In addition to that, it also gives you another channel to upsell your services. So if people come in on your email list, you can then send out an automatic flow or sequence of emails depending on which lead magnet they came from. So if they were interested in a lead magnet regarding a coaching program or something like that, then you can send them an email like, hey, I saw you're interested in this and this. Currently, we have 5 spots available for this thing, right? And then you can do that outside of YouTube. So you don't need to come off as salesy in your YouTube videos because all of that stuff happens on the back end. And all this together just allows you to compound your growth much faster, because the people that come in case they stop seeing your videos in their YouTube feed or they don't even use YouTube that much, they will still get your emails. So they can come into your YouTube channel again or onto your YouTube videos again through email instead of having to be addicted to YouTube, because I guess some people just aren't addicted to YouTube. So if you can get them to click YouTube videos through email, that's also a way to get those recurring viewers to come back. So for level 2, it's also really important that you balance viral and converting videos. So sometimes you need to throw a wide net to get in front of your ideal customer profile or ICP. That means you need some type of content that a lot of people are going to want to watch. And it doesn't necessarily need to be content that's super technical, sophisticated. It just needs to be something a lot of people within your space want to watch. Okay, and that might mean that you're optimizing for views on that video, but then you also need other videos that are more focused on converting the right type of person. So as an example here, I made this video here that got 15 times better performance than my average performance, 8,600 views, but I don't think I got any booked calls in 1 year. So this one was live for, now it's been live for more than 1 year, but when I get on sales calls with people, I ask them which video they watched, and I still haven't heard anyone say that that was the video they watched, which is crazy to me because it got so much better performance. And then you can compare that to a recent video that I posted about a week ago now. And with just 324 views, I got 2 booked calls from this one. And you see, this one is a specific case study where I show a more sophisticated strategy of how we added 26K in profit in 60 days. And this other one here is more broad. It's just more simple. Still related to Facebook ads. And it probably helped a lot of people, but they're not booking in calls because these are people not making as much money and they're not qualified. So make sure you have a balance of content that is going to convert your audience and content that is going to create your audience. Now at level 3, I would say this is between 1,000 to 5,000 subs. Obviously, I haven't reached 5,000 subs yet. I hopefully will at some point, but I still have some lessons here. I'm currently at 3,000 subs. By the end of this year, I hope to be at 10K, but we'll see how that goes. Now, at this level, you should definitely hire a video editor, okay? You're sick and tired of editing your own videos. I get it. I at some point, I hated editing my videos. It's just so annoying sitting there editing, seeing yourself talking, hearing your own voice. You want to stop doing that because you want to make the process of making videos as fun and as frictionless as possible. And now you're probably making enough money to the point where it makes sense to hire a video editor. It's going to be a lot more expensive because if you hire a cheap video editor, it's just going to be a headache for you. Trust me, I've had so many video editors that sucked and I needed to do the videos myself again. So make sure you just hire a good one from the get-go. Again, I would use YouTube Jobs and LinkedIn to get people to apply. put a proper hiring funnel up, like create a proper form, ask a lot of questions, filter through, because there's so much shit out there. So you just need to put in a lot of effort here. As you can see, we set up a full funnel through Typeform. You can use tally.so as well. And just make sure that you put some effort in here, because the more effort you can put into like searching for the right one, it's just much better to put the effort there instead of having to pay shitty editors and waste money essentially. Make sure you review the work and also interview the top candidates. You want to actually hop on a video call with them and see if you get along with them. Because if you have a good relationship with your video editor and your talent in general, and they respect you and you have a good vibe, like people aren't always just incentivized doing a good job based of money, but also to maintain that good relationship with someone they like. So if you have a good tone with them, a good relationship with them, that's going to improve the work they deliver. You can definitely trust me on that. I've done both. I've done hiring through not talking to the person, and I've done hiring through hopping on calls with the person, and that's a big difference. Then you give one or two paid test projects. So give it to the number one or both number one and number two on your priority list. You can do more if you want to. And if it is not good enough, if you have to go back and forth fixing too many things, then just keep on going until you find someone that's good enough. Don't force it. Take your time. Once you find the right one, it's going to relieve so much stress and give you so much time back and energy to make more videos, because now you have a thumbnail designer and a video editor, and all you really need to do is to get in front of the camera, open your script, make the video, upload to Google Drive, and the rest gets handled. Now, the next thing is going to be a lot more sophisticated compared to what we've been talking about so far, but it's building out the content flywheel. So we want to remove as much friction from you as possible so that you enjoy making the content and give you more time back, because creating content takes a lot of time and energy. So if we can make this frictionless and get more out of the content that we make, then that would give you more leverage and allow you to scale your business much faster. So now I'll show you my content flywheel that I built out last year and how I use it in my agency. So I essentially built this one out using Miro. The first thing we do, we have an introduction where we talk about what this flowchart means, the goals we have with it, the buffer maintenance, always 1 week ahead, and some more information regarding that here. Then we have access page. Essentially, this links to the information that the person in my team needs in order to get access to the platform that they need to complete this content flywheel flowchart. And then who's responsible, okay? So the yellow ones are triggers, and that usually means some automation through Zapier or something like that, and who the owner is. The owner of the totality of the flowchart is my virtual assistant. So first thing is, it starts by me scripting a long-form video. I record it and upload it to the drive. Then I add in the video title and some editor notes if there's anything I want the editor to know to make the process for the editor more simple. Let me zoom in actually. Then I add that into the project management. We use Slack lists, but whatever project management tool you use, you can just link that here. Then there's a trigger. After I add this, there's an automation going off, sending an automatic Slack message to the YouTube projects channel. And then the VA adds a deadline to the project and notifies the editor to get it done by that deadline. Then the next trigger is them either finishing the draft. If it's a yes, then they will upload it here into the frame.io. If no, the VA follows up until they edit the first draft. Then there's the Zapier automation that automatically goes off when the first draft is created. Then the VA reviews the draft. Then my virtual assistant, Katrina, adds that into frame.io. And frame.io, just to show you how amazing of a tool that is and how we use it, is definitely something you should add into your business if you're not already using it and you're creating content. So this is frame.io. As you can see, my editor uploads the content here, and then I can simply add comments throughout the video. So I can put in a comment here on this section, and then the editor will know exactly what he should be editing. Now, to show you how we use this, let me go to variation number 1 of this one. And as you can see, here I add some comments. Then I can also go here and I can tell the video editor to remove this part. So throughout the video, I can add comments, makes it a lot easier for the video editor. And then once he creates a new variation, he uploads it here. And then if there's anything more, I can continue to add comments until it's done. Then when it's done, I click here, approved, and that triggers the next part of the flowchart here. So that's how we use it. We go back and forth. My VA has responsibility for most of it. I'm not going to go through all of the steps in this. We have linked SOPs and all that kind of stuff to every step in the process. But essentially what we use this is to make sure that we have somebody that takes ownership. That is not me. So that when I'm done filming and uploading to Google Drive, the video gets a thumbnail, it gets edited, and it gets posted and distributed. So I also have in the end of the flowchart, when the long form video is done, we also create that into a podcast. So we turn the audio into a podcast and we upload that here. I have a podcast called Smart Scaling, which is essentially just getting more out of the content I'm already making. So I just take the audio from my YouTube and make it into a podcast. So in case parts of my audience want to listen to the content because they're on the go, they can do that and you can get more out of your input. So it gives you more leverage. Now, what we also do now is that we turn the transcript into a blog post. So as you're talking, you can convert the audio into a transcript and you can use the transcript and run that through GPT or an AI. We use ChatGPT, and then you can turn that into a blog post. And then that gives us even more leverage because now we have a blog post on our website as well. In addition to that, you can use AI now to turn your long form content into short form content. To show you what I mean here, there's a tool called Opus Clip or clip.opus.pro. And you can just add the YouTube link in here and it will automatically create short form content for you. Some of this is not going to be usable because it just doesn't make sense because you need more of the long form for the short form to make sense. But sometimes it comes up with stuff that could perfectly work for short form, and you can make YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and also LinkedIn videos from it. Now, if you want to get access to the full content flywheel that I built out in Miro, you can go to my Instagram. It's Oli_Strand and just DM me flywheel and I'll send that over to you. Now at level 3, it's also really important that you track the right metric. So we want to make sure that we figure out what type of content is getting us booked calls. So in your CRM, I use Notion. When I hop on a call with somebody, I always ask them which video they saw that got them to book in a call. And then I put the source as YouTube, and then I note that down so that I understand the videos that have the most in terms of getting booked appointments. That's really important because you don't want to go through this process optimizing for subscribers and views because you're not going to make money off that. You need to figure out what type of content are getting people to book calls. And that's what you should optimize for. Of course, you should also mix viral content with converting content. But when you make converting content, you need to understand which of your converting content is the most effective, essentially. Now, some bonus tips. These are some lessons that I've learned. And that's number 1, do not stop posting. I've had periods where I just didn't post and that hurt me so much. I think I could have a much more exponential growth by now if I just stayed consistent on a week-to-week basis. Make sure you batch your videos at least 2 to 4 weeks ahead if you can. So sometimes I've been able to do this, sometimes I've not. But having videos ready to go is really, really great because if you get sick or something happens and you cannot get a video ready for posting that week, you can then just use one of your backup videos and you can stay with your momentum. At the end of the day, it's really important that you show up consistently to get growth faster and get your growth to compound faster. Put off a dedicated day for scripting and a dedicated day for filming. You want to have fresh energy when you're filming, so have one separate day for scripting and one for filming. Because when you want to sit down and film, you want to have the script ready to go and you can just, punch through the filming. Have a static filming setup. I'm traveling a lot, so this is really difficult for me, but just having the microphone, the camera, you know where you're going to place it, having the background clean already, so you can just sit down or stand up and just, get to filming right away. that's going to minimize a little bit of friction there. What you can also do is make your daily life into content. So for example, I've had strategy sessions with people that I've filmed with Google Meet or Zoom, and then I've made that recording into content. And that's a great way to fill in the gaps if you have some times where you don't have energy to create content, or you just don't feel inspired. You can just have that content as backup content and post that the weeks that you don't feel like making new content. Get a virtual assistant to handle the uploading and distribution. So again, if you want to see how I do this in my agency with the content flywheel, go to my Instagram, send me a DM with the word flywheel, and I'll send it over to you. But essentially, you want to get as much out of this process as possible. You're going to be the mastermind. You're going to come up with the ideas and script the videos. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is like uploading the title, uploading the thumbnail, putting in the tags when you're uploading the YouTube video. You just don't need to do that. So I have a whole system to get my VA to do all of that, as well as like turning the long form into a blog post, into a podcast, into a LinkedIn lead magnet, into an email newsletter. All of that my VA handles, and I can show you how to do that, but that's going to take a lot more time, and I don't want to get into that too much in this video. Also, always remember that a lot of times you will have new viewers coming in, so you always have to restate who you are and restate the authority you have in the beginning of the video, so that people know who you are, what you do, and that they can trust you. And make sure you always double down on what's working. So a big mistake I've made is like trying new stuff too many times instead of just continuing to make the same idea into different videos, basically. Because if you have an idea that's working really great, then you should just squeeze all the juice you can from that, because it takes a lot to find great ideas. And if you can come up with a great idea, just make many different videos around that idea. Because if you've had like a few thousand views from the first time you made it, if you make it again, you might get a lot more views, but a lot of new people coming in that haven't seen that first video. So it's still a great idea, but you can get more out of that idea if you continue to iterate on it. So if you found this video valuable, I want to let you know that this YouTube channel is simply something I do at the moment just for fun. I have a long-term vision around this, but I want to build a community of like-minded entrepreneurs that value freedom and lifestyle over just making more money. So if that sounds something that you would be interested in, I have a free community. So you can simply go to my Instagram. On my latest post, you can comment lifestyle, and I can send you a DM to get into the free group. Right now, I really want to build that community so that we can help each other out. If you have a business, if you're trying to get your business in a position that where you can enjoy it more, travel more, do more of what you really love, building systems that allow you to do that, then I think this community will be valuable for you. It's totally free. There's no upsells right now. Everything is for free. So go to my Instagram, comment lifestyle on my latest post, and yeah, I'll DM you the information to get to be a part of that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. Again, if you have any questions to anything, please leave them down in the comments. I'm currently growing this YouTube channel, so I will still answer every single comment that I get in as much detail as I can. So take advantage of that. And also, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And yeah, thank you so much.